Hello, I'm Scott. This is my channel CineRam. Thank you for clicking on me. I'd like to talk a little bit about the Oscars, which are coming up. A few weeks ago, of course, the nominations were announced, and there was a big hullabaloo about Andrea Riseborough, who is nominated in the Best Leading Actress category for a film called To Leslie, which is a very low-budget production from a very small production company. Didn't have a lot of money to do campaigning the usual way, so they did sort of more of a grassroots style thing. The director of the movie is married to the actress Mary McCormick, who has lots of friends who are actors and actresses, and she communicated to them, hey, it would be great if you hosted screenings and talked up our film a little bit, especially our lead actress, because we think she's awesome. And when Andrea Riseborough got her Best Actress nomination and Viola Davis did not, some people were upset, and the Academy decided to conduct a review. Now, after their review, basically, they said, hey, everything's above board. We are not going to rescind Andrea Riseborough's nomination. It's all good. They also commented, given this review, it is apparent that components of the regulations must be clarified to help create a better framework for respectful, inclusive, and unbiased campaigning. These changes will be made after this awards cycle and will be shared with our membership. If you'd like to know more details about what went on exactly, there's a guy subscribed to named Dan Murrell, and I will link his video below because 2 weeks ago he posted a breakdown of exactly what rules this internet and Twitter campaign with personally hosted screenings of the film might have how those details might have broken Academy rules. He breaks it all down for you. It's kind of a long video, but it's very informative. I recommend it highly. The Academy also said, the Academy strives to create an environment where votes are based solely on the artistic and technical merits of the eligible films and achievements. And as Dan Murrell said in his video, since when? This is about money. This is about money. The Academy makes money by having production companies and distributors and studios promote their Oscar hopefuls in an official capacity. Dan Murrell describes all this in his video, but it basically comes down to sending out emails to Academy members and having the film basically be hosted on the official Academy Awards website, which costs money. Both of those things cost a fee by the production company or the studio, whomever it is that's responsible for funding the campaign for an Academy Award in the first place. Now, since To Leslie didn't have this kind of scratch to, they did it, something alternative, basically. They did it differently. And a lot of people thought Viola Davis was sure to get a Best Actress nomination for The Woman King, and she didn't. And also the lead actress, I think her name is Danielle Deadwyler, from the film Till, was also tipped for a nomination. Some people thought it would be certain that they would get it, and neither of them did. And Andrea Riseborough sort of came out of nowhere in the home stretch of the nomination process and got the nomination. So the thing about the whole business with the technical merits and artistic merits of the eligible films is that if you really wanted to have people base their awards decisions solely on that, then it seems to me that the Academy ought to prohibit all campaigning of any kind by anyone for anything. That way, no one, you've got the movies with the high budgets and the big marketing campaigns, but if they can't openly ask people to consider their film for awards, then people will just sort of vote for whatever they want. And they'll listen to their friends, and maybe they'll listen to critics, and other things like that, but there won't be, blatant campaigning for specific awards by specific people. Now, one thing that you may not be aware of is that the awards, particularly in the acting categories, the qualifications are sort of applied for by the studio or production company. For example, in 1999, Haley Joel Osment appeared, of course, in The Sixth Sense and got, it was an incredibly successful film. And he was nominated in the supporting actor category instead of the lead actor category because that is what the studio submitted him for. They didn't want him considered for lead actor because they thought that he might not get the nomination if he was competing against, the other guys looking for the lead actor category. So they put him in supporting the category. They said, please consider him for supporting actor, and then he got the nomination, along with Toni Collette getting a nomination for supporting actress. So that's like a rule. That's sort of a thing that needs to be considered. Yeah, if nobody did that, if nobody could, openly campaign for any award of any kind, then it would be kind of open season. But that's not going to happen because there's money to be made. The Academy makes money by having these official channels for campaigning and these rules for campaigning. By the way, I have another crazy idea, aside from just not even campaigning for awards of any kind. The Academy could make a rule. They're not going to do this. No one would ever agree to this, but the Academy could make a rule in order to make the Best Picture category more fair, that they would insist that any studio or production company or distributor that wanted to submit their film for the Best Picture competition would have to adapt the same source material. Let's say 2 years from now they said, okay, anybody who wants to win Best Picture, you have to do an adaptation of Dark Side of the Moon. Turn that Pink Floyd album into a movie, kind of like how Alan Parker did with The Wall in the 80s, okay? And each one of you does an adaptation of Dark Side of the Moon and make that into a movie, and those will be the ones, and then it'll be easier for us to compare. See, the source materials are all different. It's really hard to compare Best Picture nominees because they're all so different from each other. They have certain characteristics in common with each other. Most of them are dramas. A lot of them are based on real people or real events, things like that. Most of them have, very, very high critical value. But if everyone had to adapt the exact same book or the exact same play or the exact same whatever in order to score a Best Picture nomination, then you would have a much easier time comparing them, because then you could easily see who made the best film from that particular source material. That will, of course, never happen. It's a ridiculous idea, but it would make things more fair. It wouldn't be fair to the studios because only maybe one of those movies would actually be a financial success at the box office, but whatever. Anyway, crazy idea, silly idea, but, it would make it more fair. That's all I've got for now. I appreciate you watching this video, and I also just want to mention that a documentary that I helped produce is now available for streaming right here on YouTube. If you're familiar with the writer Barry Gifford, he is the guy who created Sailor and Lula, the characters played by Nicolas Cage and Laura Dern in the David Lynch film Wild at Heart. He's written a lot of short stories and novels over the years, using a character named Roy, who was a kid growing up in Chicago in the 50s and 60s. It's sort of semi-autobiographical, if you will, semi-autobiographical. And so the documentary is about his childhood and is about basically what life was like in Chicago during that period of time. The documentary was made by a guy living here in Chicago named Rob Christopher, and he actually got Willem Dafoe and Matt Dillon and Lily Taylor to read passages of Barry Gifford's work for the documentary, which is pretty exciting. Anyway, it's on YouTube right now. You can pay $4 and take 48 hours to watch it as many times as you like. It's available on some other streaming services as well, but since you're already on YouTube, as are many people, I wanted to let you know that it's right here. It's called Roy's World, Barry Gifford, Chicago, and the link to that is also in the description below. Thank you for watching very much. Good to be back on YouTube, of course, posting somewhat regularly. I'll see you again real soon. Bye.